windy outside today. You know what I discovered, or recently was thinking about, is that wind is almost always an awesome thing. Because whenever I think of wind, I think of how are there still mold lines on this model? I spent like 5 hours getting them off. Wind, I associate wind with going fast. Like when you're riding a bike, or you're like jumping off a diving board, or cliff diving, or any kind of stuff like that. There's always lots of wind involved. Just at your face. You're just going really, really fast, and it's awesome. And so even if you're outside, just walking around and there's lots of wind, it's just, wind makes me happy. But recently, my life has been involved a lot with video cameras. And when you have a video camera and you're trying to record something, wind is your biggest enemy in the world. Because the mic, well, I guess the microphone, because it just picks up the wind. It's just big, like if I blow on this mic, it's probably an awful experience for you guys, even though it was barely anything for me. Well, I'll have to watch this and see if it was too bad. I might have to turn down the volume or something. But yeah, wind is just awful when you're trying to record something. But otherwise, I love it. I love it. Luckily, we have a building here at Miniwargaming, so I can just stay inside. And it all works out. So it actually hasn't affected anything recently. But I don't know why I was thinking about that. But I just like wind. Wind is good. That's awesome, Dan. Oh, thanks, Niner33. That means a lot. What's awesome? I don't understand. Am I awesome? That's awesome, Dan? Like that's the awesome Dan? Or everything that I've ever said, that's awesome. That makes sense, so we'll stick with that one. These vlogs, or blogs, or something, are wanting me to try War Machine. Unfortunately, no hobby store near me plays, so I may have to wait a few years. Oh, that's very sad. It is. Although that's like it's like me and my fantasy with Sheeb. We had no one to play with besides each other. It was just the two of us, and we didn't have any money, and so we just played with Legos. And so if you just like buy the rule book, because you're eventually going to buy it, right? Although a few years from now, a new edition might come out, but not everything's going to change so drastically. So if you buy like a softcover rule book or something, you just not too expensive, and then you can just proxy stuff or use your other Warhammer stuff. It's not as fun, I understand, but just try playing it out with the people, or you can just bring your Warhammer models to the club that plays Warhammer and play it, like proxy it with a few people, try to get someone involved. And I just found this little granola bar and I'm so excited to eat it. I don't even no idea where it came from, but anyways, yeah, so you can proxy it, play it. If you guys enjoy it, you might not enjoy it too much with the proxies or whatever. You might not understand the rules fully, but if you do enjoy it, and you get enough people into it, then maybe you could start something going on in that part of where you are. So I don't know, try it out. You'd be surprised how much influence you can have just by yourself if you just go gung-ho for something. Oh. Oh, good. Please excuse my chewing. I drop my models so much. It's a wonder why I even paint them at all. What else needs to be? Oh, I missed that part. Back to the snakebait leather. Really does take forever for your first model of that type. because I have no idea what I want to paint them. It still doesn't look good at all, I don't think. But neither did the jack when I was almost done it. Almost done. And then just a few highlights here and there, a few extra colors, and a wash. And all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I like that. I'm happy with it, so. Yeah, I don't like the gray idea. Gray is just, I don't know. You gotta paint them up. You can't just paint them gray. Looks too much like just not painted. I like my models to pop a little bit. Have a little something to them. What's the other advantage of painting models yourself? You'll always get exactly what you paint. Maybe not always exactly what you want. You're like, I want this to look so amazing. And you're like, I just spent 5 hours on this model. And it's still nowhere as good as that one masterclass painting video I saw at Miniwargaming. Thank goodness people like my crazy weirdness on camera. Because there's no way I could get employed painting. Some people are so good. They just have that, artistic ability and patience and just, that vision with the brush strokes. And I've always been a bit artistic. I think everyone is to a point, but I always liked art class in high school, all that kind of stuff. Really enjoyed it, and I skipped grade 9 art, I think. I was grade 10 when I started, and the teacher was like, "Oh, you take art classes before or something?" Was she Chinese? I don't even know. It just kind of came out like that. But I was like, no, I just like drawing. But like most people, I just don't draw anymore at all. So the stuff I would draw is mediocre at best. But the talent is there. If I wanted to develop it, I could. But same with painting, same with playing, same with Starcraft. How does the talent to develop? Real-time strategy. Good. And then Minecraft, visioning, all the stuff you build, there's just so much to do. The good thing about modeling hobbies is that you have something to show for it. You can put it on a shelf, it's there, not it's not virtual, or, more people can appreciate it, I think. So that's fun. Is it about time?
I'm heading up. You got keys, you said?
Yeah, I got keys.
All right, cool. See you.
See you, Justin. I guess it's 5 o'clock. Aha! Yep, just about that time. So about as normal. I like this a lot better than this. I'm sure you can't tell the difference at all. But once I add on this, I have a lot. That took me this long to paint this one guy. And I have 4 more guys to paint, or 5, and it's gonna be a long night. That's okay though. That's what we're here for. And I'll catch a bit more on camera. I'll go through a bit more colors. More bags. What color was it I used? Did I use earth brown or muddy? No, I used earth brown, right? Because tan shadow, yeah, earth brown. All those bags. You know what? Now that I look at everything, I don't know if it was such a good idea to spray paint them blue, because there's not all that much blue on them. I know all the recesses are blue. Well, it's done and over with now, but maybe next time. Yeah, I need some more brown. Do I have? Actually, I recently discovered, where is it? I don't even, never mind, it's not here. But my friend bought brown spray paint. So I was gonna maybe use his but they're already blue, so I don't want to spray paint them twice, and then it's just a lot more thick. I'll just paint through. I think I'll make it. Get those crevices. That's the real talent when your brush is just like. You know, I've had to stick my brush in water more times than like ever just because of this old paint. And I started this video off saying I don't think water on my paintbrush is more effective. It's just, I had something to learn today, and that you need to keep your brush wet. And then you can paint like 10 times faster and better and more effectively. Which is, I guess, the same thing as faster. I guess faster and better is more effectively. Maybe some more black, and then that, and then that. Oh, I missed some silver. See, but the silver, you don't need water out of the silver. That's what I was getting at the beginning. Like, it spreads on so easily and so fluidly, and it's just, I can't even imagine wanting water on it at all, ever. It just flows on so nicely. Yeah, that's one thing. Whether this is mithril silver or bolt gun metal, it's just that type of metallic. It always just flows on so easily. Never any issues with it at all. It's one of those just nice colors to paint with. Unfortunately, your model would look terrible if you just painted all silver, all metallic. Although you could paint it on metallic and then paint like the paint on afterwards and just not paint completely to the edges, almost like, and it looks like it's like chipping from the edges, because that could look good. But I'm just gonna stick to what I got right now. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Let's add on some red. The color that I hate, I loathe, wish never existed. Oh, I got my blood red. Wait, did I have another red? Where's the red that I used before? Was it just this one? No, because this is like empty. Like, this is empty. Scab red I was thinking about. That's more of a darker red. Actually, it didn't really fit with the other guys, but then they're infantry, and they are more. Let's try scab red, because actually scab red always goes on well. Always goes on well, except, you know, when you haven't used it in a few years. You need to help it from its jelly state back into a liquid paintable state. It's amazing how long paint can last, though. Even if it's super, super old. Just some water and some mixing around, and bam, you got your paint ready again. Now scab red, I usually use this for like actual blood. Like on my orcs when I want like blood splattered on their weapons or... Well, let's try it. Only one way to find out. See if it's, no, it's a little bit too dark, I think. Although if I do a base of scab red, the other red might go on better. I don't know where the other red went. Oh, it's over here. with, where do these other browns come from? The Foundation, Kathleen and Camari. Maybe I should have used those first. Man, I am ridiculous. So this weekend, I watched IPL 4, which is a Starcraft tournament for all of those Starcraft fanatics. And there was also the finals for the GSTL, which is the Global Starcraft Team League. There's 2 Korean leagues duking it out. And there's this one game between Marine King Prime and Startail's Parting. And it was an epic game of epic proportions. And Startail Parting looked like he was winning. And Parting is one of my favorite Pro S players. And Marine King is arguably the best player in the world right now. He's just so on fire. And so the fact that he got to that point was amazing, and then the game lagged out. Like, it was just like, it was a connection of like the, not so much, I mean, it was the connection with, it was an internet problem, but even if it was like LAN enabled, it would have also had a trouble. So like, anyways, the game disconnected, and after like 15, 20 minutes of referees watching the replay and watching everything, they decided to have a rematch in which Marine King took it. Not decisively, but decisive enough. He won. It was like a more expected match. And just like, you know, when like, even like a game of Warhammer or War Machine, like when you know someone has a better army than you, or is usually a better player, and you're playing this game and it's taken a while, and it's just like things are going just right for you, and you're just making these great decisions, and they're just making little off. It's really, really close, but it looks like you're just gonna come out on top. And it's like one of those, like, maybe not 1 in a million, but like one of those like 1 in 100 games where you're just like, yes, it's just like going, everything's going your way, and then like the power turns off and Joe accidentally knocks over the table, you know? Something crazy happens like that. And then of course in the rematch, you lose, like expected. But like, it's just so disappointing. I was so sad for Parting because he's like 17. He's like so young, and he's like made such a name for himself, and he's doing so well. I mean, Marine King's pretty young too. He's like 22. He's Starcraft players making all this money. When I tell people about that, they're like, well, why don't you make all that money with Starcraft? It's like, because I don't practice 14 hours a day. Like, if you think of the, like, I don't know, 3-4 million people in the world that play Starcraft, there's only like a couple dozen that make enough money to be notable. So, yeah. It's quite a competitive scene. I don't think I'd ever be able to reach that level of dedication and or skill. Just because I have so much Warhammer to play and War Machine, my Cygnar just come first, guys. They do. Mainly because they're easier to play. But I do love Starcraft a lot. I really enjoy it. Actually, tons of people here do. Lunch break at Miniwargaming. It's like people watching like YouTube videos of Starcraft games of pros playing. It's enjoyable. You gotta take it in spurts though, because if you try to watch too many, it just wears down on you. And you're like, oh, too much Starcraft. Because you can literally sit. There's just so many games you can sit for hours and hours and hours. Like, imagine if the NFL or like imagine if the whole playoffs of like a sport happened over a weekend instead of over, you know, a couple months. Like that's what some of these tournaments are like. is that there's like the best players in the world, and obviously it's more of like a mental game, right? And there's like, you know, there's keyboard, but you get mentally worn out long before your hands get worn out. Although their hands go crazy fast. Carpal tunnel will be the bane of esports, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, going back to my analogy, that yeah, so it was like if the playoffs were in one weekend, imagine trying to watch all of that at the same time. Like you just get so burnt out. I mean, there's some fanatics who could do it, but like when there's tournaments like that all the time, that's the interesting thing about Starcraft and other like competitive video games, is that you can just play it so much more. Like it's not so physically demanding, and yeah, there's a lot more games available.
Bueno,